Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here this morning. Today's topic is this: when to push. As always, appreciate you guys coming on and listening. Welcome into the show today. All right, so today we're going to talk about the principle that I have been learning, probably the hard way, and that is when to push and when to pull back. As many of you know, if you've listened to the show for a while, been kind of on a journey for the past few months, probably a little bit longer than that, about 6 to 8 months, I would say, coming up on a year. Wow. Of just, self-improvement, personal self-improvement, changing a lot of things about the way that I approach things, the way I do, business in my life, trying to start businesses, do this podcast, do a whole bunch of different things, right? And a lot of that comes down to just pushing. Like, it just comes down to discipline, doing the things that, I said that I was going to do, not that I have to do, right? Like, I don't have to do this podcast. I don't have to build an app. I don't have to do a lot of things, but I do them anyway because I want to, right? And the want to creates the push, right? Like, I want to do some things. I want to be married. I want to be in shape. So I do like the things that I need to do as far as working out, as far as nurturing my marriage, as far as nurturing relationships in my life, right? So the more you push, this interesting thing starts to happen is it gets tiring. Right? Like, it just gets tiring. You can quickly get exhausted. And this is why a lot of people quit on a lot of things. It's easy to give up when you're tired. Like, it's just easy to give up when things just don't go your way. You're tired. It's just, your brain talks you into saying, like, you know what? You just need to just chill out for a second. And there's two sides to this, because it can be easy to give into that temptation. And then there's times where you actually have to listen to it, right? Like, there are just times, like I'm learning this week, there are just times where if you set a standard for yourself that you're going to push and you're going to do certain things, that's great. But you also need to be in tune with your mind and your body. Like, you just do. You need to develop a sense of self-awareness and kind of start to learn, like how your body reacts to things, how your mind reacts to things, how other people react to things. And the more self-aware you can become, the more you realize that, the harder you push, the more tired you get and the less effective you are, right? At least in my case. So I know, like, today I slept in. I usually get up between like 4:30. I'm up, I'm working, I'm doing extra things, I'm working out. Like, I get up and I kick ass before I show up to work, right? But today I got up and I just couldn't do it. I just was like, you know what? I can't do it. I need to go back to sleep. I need rest. My body was just screaming for rest. So the self-awareness factor comes into this, and like I'm saying, the principle, I really want to drive home is, you have to know when to push and know when to pause, right? When to pull back, when to pull back, that's what it is. Know when to push and know when to pull back, because you can push all the time if you want to. There's people that talk about, hustling, grinding, doing all the things you need to do at all times. But that is just a losing formula, because you will get burnt out before long. Like, I don't care who you are. No human being was designed to just grind and push and just push themselves into the ground forever. Like, that's just not what we're meant to do. Now, I'm not saying that that's not good. Like, there are times, like I'm saying, there are times when you need to do that stuff. You need to push, you need to grind, you need to dig deeper than you've ever dug before and find what you're made of, right? There are times for that. But there's also times when you need to pull back, when you need to rest, when you need to actually just give yourself space to say like, you know what, like I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna figure out a better way forward, something different, right? And that's kind of where I'm at today. Like I'm just in a place where it's like, okay, I need a break. I need a day to just collect my thoughts, to just figure some stuff out, to just maybe try a different approach, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think in our society we get caught up in thinking like, oh, if you fall behind, you're left behind, right? And that's just not the case. Like you just need to gather yourself, right? I always think about this analogy I heard a long time ago about a Ferrari and a minivan going down the road, right? A Ferrari can go 200 miles down the road and blow past a minivan and be like, oh, sweet, man. Like you're going fast. You got a shiny car. Like it's all good, right? But 200 miles down the road, that Ferrari is going to run out of gas or break down, whereas the minivan that was going 65 miles an hour and just drives continuously at that speed will pass the Lamborghini and then be able to go even further and get further and further and further ahead by just going at a steady pace, right? It's like the classic tortoise and the hare story. Like it's just some of the principles that, even that they're just timeless, right? Slow and steady wins the race. So my question for you today is this, where in your world has something just gone, where do you need to pull back instead of push? Where do you need to pull back instead of keep pushing? Because as you're pushing, you're noticing you're becoming less and less effective. So that's my question and my challenge for you guys today. So that's going to wrap up the show. As always, thank you all for joining. Really appreciate you guys. And just remember, even like the weekend doesn't have to be the only time that you relax. You can do this during the week. You can push, you can pull back, you just have to become self-aware and learn more about yourself and you'll be all set. All right, my friends, that's going to be all. Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.